Hi, and thanks for checking out the latest video update from Convective Weather. I'm forecasting 8 Kitchens with you. On this Wednesday evening, we have a lot of flooding. Flooding has been a big highlight across parts of the country over the past couple of days. Let's look at the current alerts across the country. We have a flash flood watch in place across portions of Nevada. Las Vegas was certainly in the weather headlines over the past couple of days. Monday evening, picking up some pretty substantial amounts of rainfall in a very short period of time. So numerous flash flood issues there. We have a flash flood warning in this rural red area here across portions of central Nevada this evening. More flash flood watches here across portions of Wyoming as well. So it's been very active across the Rockies and also across a good part of the central U.S. We've seen this stalled frontal boundary in place all week long. This boundary allowing for the uplift of air. You have converging air. You have air coming in from this way, air coming in from this way. That air rises, forms into clouds, and eventually showers and thunderstorms. These areas have seen just copious amounts of rainfall. In fact, central Indiana yesterday just got absolutely hammered. That's where I am, here across some portions of central Indiana. Indianapolis, Indiana, picked up nearly 4.5 inches of rain in about about a 2 to 4 hour period. Picked up about 4.5 inches of rain. Now, keep in mind, the average for the entire month of July in Indianapolis is about 4.5 inches of rain. So we picked up what we would expect for the entire month of July as far as the rainfall is concerned in about 2 to 4 hours. Now that is pretty impressive. And this was on top of a ground that's already waterlogged. It doesn't matter if you're dry or wet. Previously, 4.5 inches of rain in about a 2 to 4 hour period is going to cause flooding. There's no doubt about that. And we saw numerous flash flooding across the area yesterday. Very bad timing for the rush hour. Numerous roads getting flooded. It was really a mess out there. So, very heavy rainfall. In fact, just west of Indy in Plainfield, they actually picked up nearly 5.5 inches of rain. So these storms just dumped copious amounts of rain. These stalled boundaries, I tell you, they will drop enormous amounts of rain. You get these training of storms. You have one storm followed by another storm by another storm in the same area, the stalled boundary in place. Certainly the setup was there for the flash flooding, and boy, we certainly saw that right, of course, across the central part of the state of Indiana yesterday, getting in on that flash flooding, and many areas. I've seen the flash flooding across the central U.S. over the past few days. What an interesting pattern we're in, to say the least. And we also are watching the severe weather sector. Not only, of course, we've been talking about the flash flooding, but I want to make sure you're aware of the severe weather we have going on this evening as well. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in place over the Panhandle of Texas, and we're also watching this area across portions of Illinois, southern Illinois, southwest Indiana, and southwest Missouri. We have a tornado watch in place. We have this a pretty good area of low pressure moving along this boundary, moving into portions of Illinois this evening, and we have a lot of wind aloft. You combine very strong winds aloft, combined with a good amount of instability. Certainly, the setup is there for some severe weather. So we are watching for the potential of some storms capable of producing some tornadoes, certainly some rotation in the atmosphere this evening. And here's a closer look at the area under that tornado watch across portions of southeast Missouri and southern Illinois. Again, this actually goes into effect until 1 o'clock Central Time. So make sure you are very aware of this. If you have family in this area, make sure they have their weather radios on and have a way to receive these warnings this evening. Certainly, anytime you're dealing with the potential for some tornadic storms during the nighttime when people are sleeping, it's always a very scary thought. You want to make sure you have a way to receive alerts when these warnings are issued for your area, of course, if they're issued. And looking at the severe thunderstorm watch that we currently have across portions of the Panhandle of Texas, and even parts of a county here in western Oklahoma, and even south, or I should say, eastern parts of New Mexico here, a couple counties included in that severe thunderstorm watch. And this goes into effect. It went into effect at 5:10, and this will go into this will remain in place until midnight tonight Central Time. So still several hours to go for the severe thunderstorm watch. Make sure you have a way to receive these warnings as they come out this evening. Now, of course, we've been talking about the flash flooding. It's been a huge story over the past couple of days. Of course, across the western U.S., we've seen numerous showers and storms. Now, over the next few days, this is the rainfall outlook through Friday evening. You can clearly see where this boundary is in place, allowing for all that rainfall to set up here. Looking at a good 1 to 3 inches across most of these areas, and of course, some of these storms will produce more than that. And a good part of the Rockies here getting in on some pretty good convection. And again, some of these storms will be able to dump some pretty good amounts of rainfall over the next couple of days. Looking at the severe thunderstorm risk for, first off, I'm going to look at the severe thunderstorm risk for tonight. Again, you already saw the tornado watch we have in place here in this area that's also under a slight risk for the rest of this evening. We have a pretty good area of low pressure moving through. Again, I talked about the strong winds aloft. You combine that with pretty good Cape values, a pretty good amount of instability out there. Certainly the threat is there for some severe storms, and we could see some rotation in these storms this evening. We cannot run some tornadic storms, so good. Certainly a good call by the Storm Prediction Center to issue that tornado watch, and you definitely want to be aware. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings if you are in this area over the next several hours. And also the severe thunderstorm watch right here in this area that's also under slight risk for the rest of this evening across the panhandle of Texas and into western Oklahoma and parts of eastern New Mexico, and also even in the far southeast parts of Colorado. Again, that's the outlook for the rest of this evening. And also, I don't want to leave this out. We also have that marginal risk here. We've seen a flash flooding in this area across portions of the Great Basin, along with potential for maybe a few storms approaching that severe weather limit this evening. Now, heading into Thursday, the severe weather potential is going to be setting up more across the mid-Atlantic as the area of low pressure moves off to the east. We have a slight risk in place across portions of eastern and really the southeast half of Pennsylvania under that risk on Thursday, parts of New Jersey and even in parts of northern Virginia and eastern West Virginia, all under that risk for some severe weather on Thursday. This isn't an overwhelming threat, but certainly want to be aware of this during the day on Thursday. Be sure to keep an eye on the weather. And also we have a marginal risk here across the panhandle of Texas. And as light green shading just indicates the areas where general thunderstorms are possible, where you get a thunder and lightning during the day on Thursday. And heading into Friday, probabilities aren't high enough to issue a slight risk yet for Friday, but the Storm Prediction Center has just posted showing the areas where general thunderstorms are possible during the day on Friday. Now, looking at the models looking at the setup as we go over the next several days. Again, I talked about the rainfall setting up over the next few days across portions of the central part of the country where we have the flash flood watches in place. And going into the damn computer model, you can see the storm system that I was talking about. Pretty good area of low pressure, convection, watching for the potential of severe storms across portions of the southern Illinois and southeast Missouri here. Certainly under that threat for severe storms this evening. And as this area of low pressure moves east tonight, this will bring plenty of shower and thunderstorm activity across this area. And heading into early Thursday, the area of low pressure is now shifting into northern Illinois and southeast Michigan. And heading into the day on Thursday, again, you can see the storms really developing here as this area of low pressure moves east. Parts of eastern Pennsylvania and northern Virginia, New Jersey. Those will be the areas to watch tomorrow for some severe weather during the day on Thursday, especially during that peak daytime heating in the afternoon and evening hours. And also we'll have that marginal risk here in the panhandle of Texas. And heading into Friday, you can see that area of low pressure works off to the east. The boundary will become a little more, this boundary that we have in place will become a little more oriented, kind of in a northwest to southeast orientation here. We're actually going to have an area of high pressure. We're going to have heights building across this area of the Southern Plains. So some good news for the plain states that have been inundated with heavy rainfall over the past few days. You guys have a break coming. We're going to see an area of high pressure building in. Heights will be building as we head into the next several days. So this will help to cap off your rain chances. So some good news as we head into the weekend. And the storm chances will be setting up more across portions of the Great Lakes and parts of the Ohio Valley. The Ohio Valley is really going to be on that dividing line between the high pressure providing subsidence, and you have the front here across portions of Michigan down through Ohio that will still be providing that convergence and, of course, the potential for more storms. Fingers crossed that that front can kind of lift out a little farther north, but unfortunately it looks like it will kind of get stuck here and draped here, kind of more on even a kind of a vertical orientation here of the boundary as we head into the day on Saturday. And going into the GFS computer model as we head through the weekend, and you can see the orientation of the front here, kind of in that southeast, northwest to southeast orientation on Saturday evening. And as we head into Sunday, you can see we're still looking at a nice break here across the central part, a good part of the plain states, enjoying a break in the rain. Rain chances continue across this area here. Again, we're still going to have to keep those chances in throughout the weekend. And heading into early next week, we're actually going to have a pretty interesting setup. We're going to have an area of low pressure coming down from Canada. I'm actually going to switch here and show you the 500 millibar heights heading into next week, because this is pretty interesting here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back here We're going to see the heights building across the central U.S. over the next several days. You can see this here heading into Friday and into Saturday. Again, high pressure building in. We're going to see the upper level heights building. So we're going to finally see a break in the rainfall across this area through here. But again, the front's going to be kind of draped right in this area. So unfortunately, across portions of Indiana and Ohio, northeast Kentucky, Michigan, the Great Lakes, you guys will still be under the influence of this boundary and more unstable area. The potential for some storms, showers and storms to still be an issue for you guys throughout the weekend. And as we head into next week, heading into Sunday, you see very strong raging here across the central U.S. The heights certainly building here. But watch as we head into Sunday night and into Monday, we're going to see this area of low pressure coming down from Canada. And pretty interesting setup for this time of year. You can see the heights beginning to fall back down here as the ridge gets pressed back to the south and west. We're going to see an area of low pressure coming down from Canada heading into early next week. And eventually kind of becoming cut off here potentially. So pretty interesting setup potentially early next week as this area of low pressure drops down from Canada. So this will mean another cool down in the temperatures probably for portions of the Ohio Valley and certainly the Great Lakes, and will mean the threat for more showers and storms. And going back to the GFS computer model, you can see what I'm talking about here heading into Tuesday, this area of low pressure coming down from Canada, the heights dropping back down, and showers and storms will be a good bet across this area heading into Tuesday and Wednesday. You can see potentially this area of low pressure kind of becoming cut off here. This could mean potential for some showers and storms, and along with some potentially a pocket of some pretty cold temperatures across portions of the Ohio Valley around the middle of next week. So that will be something to watch. Now, I also wanted to mention the current El Nino that we have going on. I've seen some people wondering about the latest status of what's going on with this El Nino, how strong it is, and where is it forecast to become as we head into the next several months. Right now, looking at some of the latest indices here, according to this site I'm on here, we're at a 0.7. I've seen other sites that are actually showing we're currently at a 0.9 El Nino. But you can see we're at a pretty moderate to strong El Nino now, because the last time we saw values this strong, El Nino, we're back in 09 and 2010 here. You can see these values right in here, 06 and 08 here. Between 2009 and 2010 we saw these values here. We saw it go above 1. And in fact, I'm looking at some of the longer range guidance for the El Nino, what the forecasts are showing. And in fact, some of the guidance are value going all the way up to 2. So we're talking about potentially a strong to very strong El Nino potentially developing here over the next several months. Now keep in mind the prominent effects of El Nino and La Nina tend to be most prominent in the winter months versus the summer months. And I know a lot of people have been wondering, what exactly will this El Nino bring as far as our weather pattern? Could California finally see some rain? I know I've been looking at some of that data. And in fact, during the summer, data has actually shown that during an El Nino, a moderate to strong El Nino, you guys are even more prone to raging high pressure and dry weather. Of course, this is the dry season for California. It's that subtropical high belt in the Pacific. As that high expands northward, you guys are obviously in a dry season right now. Very typical, really nothing out of the ordinary. You guys, this is typically a very dry time of year for you guys. But as we head into the winter months, you know what's going to happen. It looks like we're going to have a very strong El Nino. And exactly what effects will this have across the country? Keep in mind, no two El Ninos are the same. So I'm going to be looking into this. In fact, in my next video update, I'm going to show you potentially what this pretty strong El Nino could bring as far as our weather pattern heading into the fall and winter months. So you definitely want to be sure to check back and check it out. But that's about all I have for now. Thanks for watching this latest video update. Hope you all have a great evening and take care.